Hey guys, I know I'm a little early. I'm just kind of hanging out. So I was like, well, there's a couple people here. I'm just going to go ahead and jump on. So adjust my camera here a little bit too. We're waiting for people to show up. And that's going to be too low. All right, we'll just kind of do this and figure it out as we go. Shayna, Nina, how are you guys? Oh, man, the camera makes everything look a little wonky, and it's not. I don't know what's up with that, but okay. So anyway, I was coming home a few minutes ago, probably about half an hour ago. So I know there's not many people on, so I might repeat this again later, but you know I'm rural, so we have a lot of wildlife. I saw a brand new baby albino fawn just right outside my house. The mama was there with it, and they're somewhat used to us. So I was able to pull up in my car and be like maybe 6 feet from it and take pictures. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I've heard of them. I've never seen one. And I know they have, somebody had been posting about an albino deer out here somewhere else. So I know they exist, but I couldn't believe it. Oh, okay, good. Because it kind of looks like my couch is like this in the background. But yeah, so that was kind of my highlight. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it looked like it was brand spanking new, like within the last 24 hours new. So, oh, it was so sweet. I was taking as many pictures as I could, but the sun was shining just at the right angle. And so all my pictures are a little overexposed, but I got it. But still, I'm like, oh, I hope I see you again. You're so cute. I hope I get to watch you grow up. You never know around here. They could show up and then be gone because they wander, or heaven forbid something else happens. So, but out here by the lake and stuff, anything, you know, they can go hide anywhere for a long time, and I may never see them again. So I hope I get to see it. It was so cute. We do see a lot of newbies around here, but man, not like that. That was so awesome. So everybody have a good day today. Anna had a great day today. Those of you that were watching Sewing Machines Plus, their live events, they give away stuff during the day. You know, they just have drawings for those that are on YouTube and Facebook watching. And if you comment and stuff, that's how you get entered. She won one of the prizes today. So that was really exciting. Both me and Sandy were watching, and we were like, what? Anna! That was so cool. So cool. So girls, anybody been working on their quilt top? You can see mine's right over there. So yeah, we're going to start putting together today. Oh, I was going to grab something. I thought about it and then I spaced it up, and I know it's right over here. Man, I'm so mad at myself. I'm starting to clean and rearrange again down here. I do that just every now and then. It's like all of a sudden I just look around and go, yeah, no, this ain't working. And start moving everything. I'm sure you guys can all relate. So I moved my shipping bags, you know, that we all have that we use to ship our stuff in that's really inexpensive. And I use it for my yarn. Well, I was getting ready to go ship out an order, and I remember moving those bags a couple days ago. I don't remember where I put them. I can't find them. I've been turning the studio upside down. And I remember moving them, and I remember stashing them in like a little cubby area, and it was like right here. I can't find them. I'm just like, great. I'm probably going to have to go buy a bag tomorrow to ship this, and then I'll find it in 2 days. Guaranteed. So I'm just, oh, so frustrating. So if you catch me looking around during this, I'm just kind of like, didn't look there. Let me think real quick, and I'll look. This is driving me insane. And the funny thing was, I moved them going, oh, you will remember you moved them there. That's not a problem. You will see them because I've done this so many times. When I move something, I'm like, okay, make sure you put it where you can see it in case you can't remember. And I know I thought that with these bags. Still can't find them. So, and the thing that I was going to show you guys tonight, let me see if I can find the recipe too, was how to make some quilt labels. If you have a sublimation machine, you're fine. A sublimation printer, you can use that. But if you don't have one, I've got a really cool hack, and I'll show you guys. I've just got to find the recipe. And it's something I've had for a little while. And I hope I can find it. If I can't find it, I may have to search for it. If I can't find it real quick here, I may have to search for it. And I think I've got it written in one of my books. And then I'll put it in the description, or I'll put it on my Facebook page, and you guys can go grab that. But it's a little concoction that you put together like a liquid, and then you soak the fabric in it and let it dry, and then you can run it through your printer. And these labels I'm going to show you are several years old, and you're going to see how well it stays. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. It just blew my mind. I did it once, and I thought, I'm just going to print off a bunch of them and just see over the years how it lasts. And they're looking pretty darn good. I must say so. I was really shocked. So yeah. Hey Sierra. Hey Mary Beth. Hey Shamira. I like that, honey buns. That's awesome. This is a nice little mid of the week pick me up for me, guys, since I'm traveled for so long. I kind of forgot what it was like to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in my week here. And it's so nice to actually feel like my weeks are just not flying by. It's so awesome. I'm not going to find this right at this second. I'm probably going to have to post this. I know I took a picture of it, but when you've got 40 million pictures on your phone over the years, yeah, that's kind of nuts. And I may still find it here while we're searching, but. So how's everybody's week going so far? Is it going good? Hey, Sandy. I was just telling them about how when you and I were watching Anna win today, that was so cool. Hey, Teacher Victoria. Hey, happy Wednesday. Yeah, I'm so excited about it. To actually be here and be able to be with you guys on a Wednesday night in my favorite place with my favorite people. It's so awesome. So awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to find this recipe. Not right at this second. And then the minute I get done, I'll be like, oh, there it is. Anyway, if anybody sees those bags, let me know. They're white. They're just those white poly bags that we mail everything in. So if you see them in my background somewhere rolled up, they're about this big around now, because that's about all I got left. Say, hey, check over there. This is making me insane. I know, Sandy. I did too. It just kind of caught me by surprise for a second too. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I know that person. I mean, you never expect to know the person. So, hey, Marissa. So I'm going to show you the little deer. This is not too bad of a picture. So those that are coming in, I was telling these guys right before I started, started the video, I came home, and since I live rural, I saw a brand spanking new baby deer, but it's an albino. And I tried to take pictures of it real quick, so I hope you can see this. My ring light's probably gonna. Look at him, isn't he cute? And he's got pink eyes. It was so sweet. And it just stood there and let me take pictures. And Mama just looked at me like, hey, isn't she cute? Yeah, Sus. I just hope I get to see her again, or him, or whatever. They got a picture of him or her running away too, chasing Mama, because Mama started walking off, and the baby's like, wait, wait. It was so cute. All right, so how many people, raise your hands, is doing the quilt along with me, and how many are just here for the good time in the chat? And I don't care which side you're on. I'm just curious who's sewing with me and who's not. I know, Sierra, you were going to work on one because you had the jelly roll. Girl time chat. Yes, Shayna. I know, I'm all about that too. Yeah, I'm all cool if that's all you're doing. That's not a big deal. Oh, cool, Sandy. You get some quiet time. All right, let me show you these labels before we get going on to things, and I forget to do it. So I will post the recipe, but I did them in 2 different colors out of curiosity. So what I took was a regular linen fabric, a lightweight linen fabric, and it's actually kind of a cream color. And then you put Heat and Bond Light on the back. But actually what I did, let me step back one. Okay, you take the linen fabric, and then when I find the recipe for the liquid that you soak it in, you'll soak it in the liquid and let it dry. I think did I put it in the dryer? I have to look at the notes. I may have put it in the dryer, may have let it hang dry. I don't remember. I don't think it really matters. Well, then you iron it so that, it's nice and flat, so that you can put the Heat and Bond Light on the back. So then when you do that, I cut it into 8.5 by 11 sheets so I could put it through my printer. And you can put it through any regular printer. And Anna, we were just talking about you little lucky girl. That is so awesome. So happy for you. So when I put it through the printer, look at how good it turns out. And that's just printer ink. But if you have sublimation printer, you don't need to do this. But if you don't have a sublimation printer, this is an option. And this is several years old. So since I've got Heat and Bond on the back of this, then I can just iron it on. And then I would go and do like a zigzag stitch around the edge too, so that it stays down. But the Heat and Bond is there to keep it in place so that you can go ahead and stitch it out really nice, and it'll stay nice and flat and look really good. And the Heat and Bond, like we all know, it holds really well. So it's going to stay nice and flat through all the washings. So anyway, just an option, guys, for if you don't have a sublimation printer or you just want to try something different. There you go. Oh, Liz, don't be giving me no cicada chocolate. That's all I got to say. What is your news, girl? Do spill. Hey, Sarah, I was going to text you earlier and things got busy. So I was just going to text you and see if you were coming on tonight. Yeah, come on, Liz. Don't hold us in suspense here. Come on with a comment like that and then make us wait. You're killing us. Come on, Liz. You're killing me here. Don't tell me you got news. Come on. And those of you that are missing what I'm talking about, the Scandeez chocolate, go watch Angela Jasmina's video from today. Okay. What are you crying like a baby about? You won the lottery? Somebody sent you a new car? You found out you got an all expense paid trip somewhere, like a beach? Yeah, Anna, you know what I'm talking about. What? Liz! Oh, that's so awesome. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yay. Oh, girl, that's exciting. Is she far from you? Or is she going to ship it to you? Or can you go pick it up? That's exciting. Oh, Liz, I'm so happy for you. Very far. Oh, I was afraid of that. Yeah, Nita's a sweetheart. I know, Anna. I never win anything either, so I would have been freaking out too. You'll have to let us know how you like it. I wanted to see kind of what was all in the prize, but they really didn't show. So I'm just really curious when you get it. All right, Liz, do you know what your first project's going to be? Hey, Allison, tell us what your first project's going to be. I'm sure you've got it in your mind. You've been thinking about this for some time now. Not that you knew that you were getting a machine, but when you got a machine, you probably had an idea what you wanted to do first, right? You have no idea? Oh, well, we've got lots of ideas for you. We'll help you out there. Lots and lots of ideas for you. Yeah, it's a slippery slope, Liz, just letting you know. That's okay, and I still have to send you the pattern because I started working on it today, and the way that I'm going to do it, I have to reprint it a little bit. And I was like, I hope you still aren't waiting on this, or whoever's waiting is okay, because yeah, so we're all good. I was going to get to it last weekend, and I was going to get to it the weekend before, and I'm like, I'm just cleaning up loose ends this week. That's all there is to it. We're going to get the quilt going. I'm going to get that pattern sized for you. I got something else I was trying to do too. I can't remember. Besides finding those bags. Oh. And what sizes was it you were needing again? 9 and 12 months, or was it 9 through 18 months? I couldn't remember. I'm probably going to send 9 through 24 months just because I'm going to do that for myself anyway, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't screw up and do that. And then it was like, you're like, gee, thanks. Wasn't one size as I needed. So the quilt top is coming along. 2T and 3T, thank you. I knew it was something I was like, I may not be going high enough. That's why I have to ask. Okay, easy enough. We'll get that taken care of for you. And it definitely fit on the sheet I was working on because I was starting with 3 to 6 months. So yeah, my progression will put me onto another sheet. It's no big deal because I need those sizes myself. And if you see me swatting, for some reason, I don't know why, but there's like these little gnats that I've been killing for the last 2 days in here. And I work down here all day for my day job just by choice. I could go up the house if I wanted to upstairs, but I want to be down here. And you know why? It's your studio. You want to be in your studio as much as you can. And I don't know where these little things are coming from because I have not left any food out. There is nothing different going on. But all of a sudden, I'm just like getting dive bombed by these little stupid little gnats like you get when there is food out. So I was sitting there on a Zoom call when the first one came and got me. It was like, and I'm like, how embarrassing, I'm just like getting dive bombed by this gnat right in the middle of my Zoom call. And of course, it lands like on your face somewhere and you start freaking out. So yeah, it was exciting. So here's the quilt top that I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead. I didn't really have the right size backing that I wanted to use. I was going to use the tie-dyed one that I showed you guys, but it's not the right size. At first I thought, oh, it's overly big and it'll work for this. And then I started measuring this and I went, yeah, that's not. Hey, Corinne. I was like, hey, that's not going to work. That's square. This is rectangle. Yeah, we're done. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a minky one, but I haven't decided for sure I'm going to use this white. This is the right size and it would work. And then I could put a really bright border on it. And that might be really cool too. So I could use like a bright blue or a bright green or something. So haven't decided, but the one thing, hey, Dawn, the one thing I really wanted and I didn't have enough of, wouldn't this be cool for the back? Bright green to go with that green. So I may try and find some of this even and change my mind and do this. So wouldn't that be fun? And then do a blue border. Hey, Wanda. Sorry, I had to respond here. So yeah, I really haven't decided though for sure. We'll go through putting this together and I'll walk you through all of it. Thanks, Dawn. But I may change it up before we go finish. So yeah, because I started going through my stash and the blues that I've got that are solid are too light and it just does not work. Does not work. So anyway. But I'd really like to find this green. So I may try and find this. I know where I got it and I may try and go back and find it. And if they've got it, I'm probably going to go with this. And it's going to be just one of those really fun baby quilts and put a really cool blue border around it. So the only thing I don't like about cutting this stuff is it leaves little pieces here and there. You know what I'm talking about? Lint. So yeah. All right, so let's get going about getting this started here. So I'm not going to put a center in this one if I do the white because it doesn't need it. It doesn't show, and I don't want it to be a real heavyweight quilt. I want it to be kind of a throw. Hey, Mary. Kind of a throw in a way. It's I just want it to be something easy for you either throw on the floor to put the baby on, or maybe it's a cuddle quilt for when you're trying to settle the child down. So you don't want anything super, super heavy. You know, you want something that's a little bit lighter, like a throw weight. So that's why I'm not going to put a middle in there. If I do go with this bright green, and I think it's starting to, excuse me, show the seams through, then I will have to put a middle in it. And I may just put something as simple as another piece of white cloth, just to keep it lightweight. So that's my thoughts for now. So anyway, I'm using Minky for just this right now to show you guys how to put this together. So, but don't worry about, when you put this together, don't worry about ironing it up really super hard and heavy. Make sure you get most of the wrinkles out that are going to affect your layout. So as you're going to notice, mine's kind of wrinkled. I took the major wrinkles out that really affect when you lay something flat. But these little minor wrinkles are no big deal. Once we get done quilting it and we wash it, it takes all those wrinkles out. So don't waste your time ironing really pristinely because you're just literally wasting your time. The washing is really what takes all of these wrinkles out. So yeah, just get it good enough to go. Yeah, Marion, I didn't get to join your live because I was too busy staring at my albino fawn deer out here. And I was oohing and on over her. So yeah. All right, so these are kind of my colors right now. I kind of get stuck in this blue and green phase. It's just something I do. So anyway, I make sure you get a big place to lay this out on. When I first put the backing down, I'll take my time and really just spread all it out really nicely. And I've already done that, so I just keep spreading and spreading. Don't stretch, just spread and get all your wrinkles out. And it'll take me 5-10 minutes to do that because I want to make sure everything's straight and all things are right where they're supposed to be. So yeah. So that's what I'm doing then with the quilt top. So you're going to see when you go to lay it out, you will do the same because the more you can spread it out and the flatter and straighter you can get it. And I've got on this one, and you may have it on yours, whether it bothers you or not, is up to you if you want to deal with it. So I still had a couple that I did that weren't straight still. And I even went in and pinned those things before I sewed them down that time. And they still ended up not being exactly where they're supposed to. Well, I started looking at it and I'm like, it's not that far off. So I'm going to be able to kind of fake it and try and push it so that it doesn't show so much when I go to quilt. So I can fake it and pin it and just kind of push and pull it just a little bit and create a little bit of an optical illusion. I mean, it's really only off by probably 1/8 of an inch, and it's only like 1 or 2. So I'm not going to go in and mess with it just for that. So yeah. Okay, Sandy. I know. Liz, girl, you don't even know. You're going to just have so much fun. So much fun. You're going to end up with about 50 million files, embroidery files like the rest of us have, you know, a big old library of them. Okay, so yeah. Now I think I will go ahead and try and give you guys just a real quick look here with this. I'm going to move the camera so you can kind of see what I just did. As soon as it focuses. So all I'm doing is just straightening everything out when I'm spreading it out. So you can kind of see what I was doing. You notice how this kind of, so I may mess with that just a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And I'm not going to show you where the screw up is. So, because if nobody knows, nobody's going to know. and it'll be camouflaged just perfectly. So anyway, that's what you guys right there. Let's see if I can get you a little more at that angle so you can see what I'm doing here. Means I've got to drop my ring light a little bit here. Sorry, guys. I got it at just the right spot when I was holding it, and I'm like, yeah, that's where you guys really need to be able to see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is pinning. Sarah, you're not late again? No, we're just talking. No, this is going to kind of be a night of just chatting, and I'm going to end up doing this a lot so you guys can see what I'm doing. So, yeah. Yeah, Sarah. I know I've been going through mine the last couple of days because I'm trying to put some thoughts together. And I'm like, I know I have something. I know I have something. And then I get lost in that rabbit hole of everything I've got. And I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. Oh, I forgot I had that. And then all of a sudden it's like, what was I going looking for? It's not that, Liz. You got a lot to learn, but you really don't. So, yeah, it'll be all good. So anyway, so this is the spot right here that I was telling you. When I held that up, I could see that it kind of did a wave. And you want to make sure you leave plenty enough space, or should I say fabric, all around your edges. And so I usually leave a good couple of inches or more. This one, since I'm not putting a sandwich together and I'm just doing this, should be plenty. Now, if I was going to go in and put a center in here, like a bat, so it actually has 3 layers, this would make me a little nervous to only leave just about that much at the top. So I would pull this down and leave probably about that much at the top, about 6 inches or so, if you can, all the way around or more. And I've just learned over the years that if I didn't leave enough, it seems like I had enough, and then for some reason, everything just kind of went on me. And I didn't have enough. So I've learned just make sure you leave about 6 inches all the way around if you can when you're doing 3 layers to your quilt. Oh my goodness. Wow, Sarah, that's scary. Hey, Adriana, I didn't see you come in. Hey, hey. So if you guys aren't aware, Amber's on Sewing Machines Plus this Saturday at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. So she's got a half an hour slot. So it's gonna be exciting. We all need to go over there and support her and just try and help keep her relaxed and everything. So I'm sure she's gonna be a little anxious. And if we all show up and just start flooding the chat, I think it's going to make her feel a little more at ease. But yeah, I'm so excited for her. She said she's been practicing her, I don't know if you want to call it a speech, but she has a talk or an explanation or however you want to call it that she's going to give. And she has it all written down. So I was like, that's really good that you've got it done already and you can just keep practicing. So, hey, Kay. Awesome. Sierra, what'd you get? That's exciting. Yay. Yeah, I got a sublimation printer last week. It's on back order, so I have no idea when it's coming. They don't know when it's coming. I hope it comes. We'll put it this way. I hope they don't get the sorry you ordered X amount, but we're only sending 2 email, you know, because then I think I'd be toast and I'd be all starting all over again. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. So anyway, those of you that are coming in right now and missed it, I showed you an alternative way to do your labels earlier. And I will be putting the liquid recipe up as soon as I find it. I'll put it in the description of this video. But if you don't have a sublimation printer, this is an option. And you just make the liquid, soak your fabric in the liquid. I use linen, you can use cotton, you can use whatever. Let it dry, iron it flat, put heat and bond on the back, and then cut it into a size that'll go through your printer and just use your regular printer and printer ink. And you just make up your label and print it. Now, these were done a couple years ago, and they're still true to color. They have not faded, nothing. So I will find that, and if anybody wants to do that, there they are. And I put heat and bond on the back of mine to give the fabric stability to go through the printer, and also that way then you can get it exactly where you want it on your quilt and iron it down and then go back and stitch it so that it's down, and then you can do whatever stitch. Yes, I got a printer. It's not here yet, Mary. Like I said, it's on back order. And he said that they ordered them May 25th. And he didn't seem to know how long the back order was for. So like I said, I hope I get it. I mean, I'm sure, you know, you place an order for so many on back order, and then if it's on back order, everybody wants it. And you may or may not get all of them that you ordered. So I'm hoping I get it. We'll see. Yeah, Liz, you do. At least I'm not going to be getting cicada chocolate. That was funny. Did you see? I got to keep the camera here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Did you see her reel that she did with Roman? Oh my God, it was hilarious. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to say anything. You guys have to go over on her I think it was on her Instagram that I saw it. Yeah, it was on Instagram. And so it's funny. It is so, so funny. Oh yeah, greenhouse before a printer. There you go. That's awesome, Mary. Roman was so funny. That was hilarious. Sarah, a lot of the building materials right now are long lead times, and the prices are jumping because of the demand. The construction during COVID went up. A lot of the materials are now scarce that weren't. Metal and steel is horrendously high along with wood. You can't get a hold of a lot of things. And the reason I know this is because I I'm in construction management, and we're starting to deal with a lot of this stuff. So it may not be a forever thing. So if there is some way you guys can, and I don't know if you can, but if you can limp it through a little bit, it's bound to get better. It's just not going to be better for the moment. Hey, Michelle, you didn't miss it. No, you didn't miss it. I just kind of laid out the back, laid out the front, and then we've been chatting ever since. So yeah, it's all good. Nita, hey, you're the girl of the hour. We've been talking about you too. Are your ears burning? Hey, Angela. Liz came in here bawling, just bawling. You are so sweet. So cool of you, Nita. Yeah, I was the same way, Mary, but the more I started looking at it, it's for my labels mainly. Yeah, I'm going to do some other things with it too, but the labels are the main thing. And if I get everything for the price I'm going to get it for, I will have spent that on labels like in 1 or 2 orders. It just made no sense. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. Yeah, Mary, you just hold off. The wood will get better. It's just, I can't say much about theory. I can't. I can't do it on here because it's a little controversial, but it'll get better. So yeah, just hang on. Aw, thanks, Adriana. Yeah, no kidding. And right now with all the heat, the way it's going, Sarah, oh, that's tough. Tough. Yeah. So Mary, if you guys can hold off even, a couple of months, I think the wood thing will get better. So it's one of those, I know you want to do it during the summer, so I get it. But you guys, if you can hold off, the wood prices literally are triple what they should be. So I would totally just put it off, even if you have to go out and do it in the 32-degree weather. I would be doing it then just to save yourself some money if you can. Yeah, that's a lot, Sarah. It really is. It depends upon how it's 1,500 square feet. Okay, yeah, that's pretty high then. Yep. So yeah, you're dealing with a lot of this that's going on right now too. Yeah, that's yes, Mary, I am. I'm converting a printer. The one I ordered was the Epson Workforce 7710. And I know Cindy has that one and loves it, and a lot of people have it and they really like it. And I managed to find one for a really good deal. So, like I said, I'll see if I can get it first because I noticed since it's on back order, which is what they should do, but they haven't taken my money. They've got my credit card and everything, and I think he's probably holding it just to make sure he actually can fulfill all the back orders that he's getting. So that's fine. I'm just like, I may or may not get it. So we'll see. I may have to go to a plan B and get a different brand or something, but we'll see. Oh, cool. Yeah, I got to go watch that, Mary. I know, Sarah. I can't wait to hear how you like it because it turned out really good. Sarah's got her dinosaur print, both girl and boy, that she ordered a sample of to see if she liked it before she publishes. So she's really close and it's really cute. Allison, I don't know. I don't know. I'm doing them for me and I don't know yet. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, but it could be a good one. So I thought about it and we'll see. So it's a possibility. All right, so what I'm going to show you guys how to pin this while we're doing this. There you go, Mary. Yeah, the other reason I got that one was because it will print all the way to a 13 by 19, I think. Not that I'm probably going to use it, but I like to have that option for that occasional, really would be nice to be able to do this. How in the heck am I not going to, And 11 by 17 is very, very awesome. I used to have an 11 by 17 regular printer and I used it more than I realized. So yeah, and the price on this one was really good. So I'm like, yeah, just do it. All right, I'm again, those of you that are like wondering why I'm doing this, that gnat, I've been killing them like crazy today, and I thought there was only like 2 or 3, and it seems like I've killed 5 or 7, and I still have one. So, oh, cool, Anna. Oh man, fabric hauls, and especially spoonflower fabric hauls. Oh, those are the best. Okay, so you see my big old tub of safety pins. And I was telling you to get as big as you can. So I'm going to probably go through most of these in this big old tub, pinning this, because the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to quilt. So I don't want this thing to move on me. So I've got this, make sure you've got it on a table that you can push pins into and not wreck your table, because this will scratch whatever's underneath, because you've got to get all the way down through your layers and pin it. So since I'm only going through 2 layers, it's not so bad. But if you're going through 3, there's going to be a few times when you're going across some of the seams and stuff that it might be a little bit harder to close. Excuse me, not a big deal, but I'm just saying it can happen. So I always start in the center of my quilt and work my way out when I'm pinning, because you want to work out, you've gone and you've flattened everything, you flattened the bottom layer, and you spent your time rubbing it all out and flattening it. And I mean, making sure everything's straight. And then you put, if you're doing your batting, then you put your batting on. Do the same thing. And just keep walking it out and flattening and flattening and walking it. And then you lay your top on, and then you'll do the same thing. Now, when you lay the top on, be aware when you're flattening, sometimes you're going to move the middle layer, the bat layer, which is okay. But realize too, you're not going to want to stretch anything. So just when you're moving it, if things are moving around, this is where it's going to take you the longest. I kid you not, is flattening everything out and rubbing it out and pinning, and then flattening some more and pinning and flattening some more and pinning. So just put on something and plan on doing this in an evening. Do some binge watching of something. This is very actually calming for me to do this. I love to just, put on my headphones or talk to somebody, or, like I said, binge watch or anything and do this. And it's probably better than most meditation I could do. And I don't know why, it's just so relaxing for me to sit and do this. Even if I'm fighting with the quilt top a little bit, it still relaxes me so much. I don't spray based. Another controversial thing. Some people love spray based, some don't. I've done enough work in my day job and my college life with something very, very, very similar to spray based, and I don't like the residue, and I don't like a lot of things that can happen with that. So if it works for you, go for it. I just know me, and I know how that stuff tends to work, and I'm going to have it all over my quilt top. I'm going to have spots. I'm going to have dirt. I'm going to have, I don't like it. So, I do have spray based, though, a version of what you could use for spray based. And it stays upstairs as far away from my fabric as I can keep it for that exact reason. So, yeah. Okay, Mary Beth, you don't. Okay. Yeah, because I post a lot of this stuff on my Facebook page as well. So just whatever is in my description goes on my Facebook page. So if you're looking for like what do I go get or where's the pattern in that, it's all always in the description to my videos too, guys. I just always want to say that for those of you that are like Mary Beth that really don't have any other social media outlets. So I try and cover all bases for everybody so that it's the information is easily attainable. Yes, and you can do that too, Mary. And that's another one I was going to talk about. You can go and tie off by hand, and you can just take cotton, like cotton crochet thread, or you can take yarn or whatever that stinking gnat, and he's going to end up getting on the quilt, and then I'm going to accidentally hit him, and there's going to be a spot on my quilt. Oh, so and you can do that instead of doing the pinning, and then go and quilt also. So yes, there is another way to do that as well. And if you want to do that and your child wants to help, I used to do that as a child with my mom. And so she'd get me a needle and show me how long the thread needed to be and show me how to do it. And then I would sit and tie the knots, and then I'd cut off another length of thread and go over to another spot and and she'd be at one end of the quilt and I'd be at the other end, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely can be a family event. But always start at the middle, guys, because you're going to want to keep smoothing it as you work your way out. Yeah, great memories. I've got lots of stories. I showed the crazy quilt on my last sew along on last Sunday night. If those of you didn't see it and you're curious to see it, it's over on that video, my grandma's crazy quilt that she made me. Trying to catch up with all the comments. Yes. Yep. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, and I may have to do that, Sierra. I just don't know where these things are coming from and why. Nothing has changed down here. And then all of a sudden, just today, I'm like, vroom, vroom, and I'm like, where are these guys coming from? It's just making me crazy. So I may have to do that because they're just big enough too that it's like, oh. So as you're gonna see, I'm gonna pin in the middle of every one of these squares, and I try and use the full leg of the pin and fill it. I mean, you don't want it so full that you really struggle to close it, because if you do that, you could accidentally rip your fabric. But try and use as much of the leg as you can. Don't just catch a little bit of it. When you start moving the quilt around later, you'll be glad you did, because it'll help you hold the quilt. So as you can see, I've got just basically the head showing here and just a little tiny bit of the leg. And that's about how much I will fill it up. So yeah, we'll just sit here and just keep pinning away. But I will work kind of this direction, out and then this way, and then out and then this way. So your whole point is keep spreading and flattening. And then kind of know ahead of time how you want to quilt it. I don't get too crazy when I go to quilt. I usually just do the lines. And, you can do close lines together in some areas and further apart, or you can do angles. If you want to get really creative, you can do circles, or you can do, waves, or if you want to put it on your embroidery machine and use some of the files that are out there, you sure can. Let me see, Mary Beth. I've got their samples right here. Let me see what their samples look like for that one. It is kind of stiff. It's thinner, but it's a little feels a little bit like paper. Not really, but kind of. And yeah, that could be the sizing that's on it. But it is combed cotton. So, and this is the Petal Signature cotton. Okay, yeah, and it might be this. Yeah, this one's hard to tell since it's just the polka dots on the white. Yeah, I know. You just, and Angela, as you're oh, it's Mary. I'm sorry, it was Mary that said that. As you're sitting and pinning, you can kind of think about it. I think that's the other nice thing about taking your time to pin is it gives you a chance to really think about what do you want to do for the quilt. Okay, so let's go back to the pinning here for a second. Let me give you some pointers. So those of you that are going to do just the squares, and you're going to do all the squares, try and pin in the middle of each square. And then you're going to want to also catch, and you're going to have to take this out when you're quilting. So that's the only bad thing. You're going to want to catch, let me trying to see here. You can see what I'm doing. The corners every now and then. You don't have to do every corner, but you're going to want to do a corner here and there like that, where you catch from one square to the other. And it's going to help hold everything straight for you on those squares. Now, when I'm doing, if you're doing one that is the rectangles, kind of like I'm doing here, what I'm doing is going to hold it really well. So I'm going to go in the middle of each one of these, and then I'm going to go kind of in this, what would be a square, which will become a square when I quilt it. So I'm going to do like, I did one here, but I'm going to move this one and bring it over here. So I'm going to do on here, on these. And then that way, when I go to quilt, I'm going to probably remove these because I'm going to quilt across like this. And then it's going to come back, and this is going to become a square because then I'm going to quilt in the ditch, or as close to the ditch as I can, which is, for those of you that don't know what that is, that's basically sewing right in the seam line of the two fabrics there. I usually don't do real good at staying there, so I try and not even go there because I'm like, you can see I'm like this. It's like, yeah, okay, don't even try to go in the ditch, just stay off the side. So, yeah. Ah, yeah, Angela, there we go. I've probably got some wine upstairs that has been in the fridge a little too long. Opened, one of those where you open a bottle and just never go back. Could probably use some of that. That's a good idea. So that's kind of the two ways to do it for pinning. And then I always overpin. You're best off overpinning than underpinning. You will thank yourself for overpinning when you start quilting and nothing moves. If you underpin, things are going to move on you. Your sandwich may move, and when you're quilting, and you don't really know until you kind of start looking at the back, and it's starting to look a little skewed or wonky. So always overpin. So that's why I was telling you guys you were going to need 2 or 3 huge bags of these, and you will use these all the time, either for this or for, you'll use these a lot just in sewing, period. When you get tired of getting stuck with those regular pins, you'll start using these sometimes because heck, you're not getting stuck anymore, no more blood. So, and then some of those multi-packs, I grabbed one that had varied sizes and I didn't realize it. So those little ones are really not useful for quilting. Oh, I like that, Mary. Mary Michelle, that's funny. Ways to make gnats drown faster. That's funny. But yeah, that does break the tension. We do that when we dye fabric. You put just a little bit of the dishwashing soap in there to break the tension of the water, so that your dyeing process goes better. So anybody else been watching that Sewing Machines Plus week? So many good deals. So many good deals. It's like, all right, I gotta start saving so I can do this next year. Because they're killing me right now. Multi-needle machines, all the little gadgets, magnetic hoops, all the things. And guys, if you can hit the thumbs up on your way in, or close out the chat and run out and do that real quick if you don't mind, that would be so awesome. So those of you that didn't know, Angela Jasmina made a guest appearance today on Sewing Machines Plus. They had Melco was supposed to be on, and it was the Denver people that were supposed to be there, and they called at the last second and said that they had to evacuate the building they were in and they couldn't be on. And so those guys called Angela at the last second and asked her to come on, and she did. It was so cool. So she did like a 15-minute talk or whatever. It was so awesome to watch her. And she was just calm as ever. You know, not that I was surprised, but yeah, just super calm. So yeah, when they were talking about that, I was just kind of half listening though. And then the guy started announcing, yeah, and then we got a hold of Angela Jasmine. And I'm like, what? You did not. That is so good. That was so good. Yeah, I'm sure she probably could. Yeah, all of us that were watching and knew her, we were all, you know, we were all being groupies. It was quite fun. Yeah. Yeah, my wish list is extremely long, and I'm the one that has to tell myself no. No, no. So then I get to be mad at myself because I tell myself no. And you can always pin, and then if you, and this, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I do this quite a bit. I'll sit and pin and I'll do things, and then I'll go back and sometimes repin a few areas again because for some reason something either moved or I noticed in the pinning it did create a lump and I need to kind of just smooth it back out again. So Don't be surprised if you end up having to go and redo it. I do it all the time. I'm really fussy about the pinning because I know this is so important. And make sure you're grabbing all the layers. There's, I don't know how many times I'll end up pinning and then I'll get to a section where I was like, wow, whatever I was watching must have really had me enthralled because I was just catching like one or two layers. So I'd have to stop. So I've learned now to check before I start quilting and make sure I caught all the layers on all the pins. Oh, I agree, Kay. Those mats were cool. Oh, another thing too, guys. Sometimes these pins have a hook on them, just a little bit, because they're obviously, mass made. So I just caught one and I'm just going to toss it because it's definitely got a catch to it. And you'll never be able to use it without it wrecking something. Yeah. No, that's definitely true, Michelle. Is I tell myself things like that, but then at times, then when that bonus part, when that whatever goal hits or whatever, I still get to that point where like, but you need to do this. That is a luxury. This is a necessity. You can't. So, and then I'm like, okay. So there will be a day. It'll work out just fine. I just need to forget about that and just keep looking ahead. Yeah, that bent, and I didn't expect that one. I've been using these for quite a while. So I don't know why I didn't notice it earlier. No, if the fabrics I was working on, because I was working on t-shirts, t-shirt quilts, and so maybe it wasn't catching on that, and it just now started catching because this is all cotton. Yeah, when you have to parent yourself. Yeah, that's the greatest, isn't it? But then I can also, I don't have to hide my bags when I go shopping too. I come home and, of course, the cats always give you that obligatory judgy look, and the dog looks at me like, "What'd you bring? What'd you bring? What'd you bring?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Come here, kids. Let's all see what Mama bought." That's okay, Eddie, honey. No, you're fine. You're not that late. We're just chatting. Got that McDonald's money. Oh, wind down Wednesday. Yeah, can't be doing those anymore. She can do grape juice down Wednesday. Water down Wednesday can do that too. Or freak us all out and get grape juice or water with food coloring in and put it in a wine glass, and we'd all be like, "What are you doing?" Are you on nights permanently, Ediani, or is this just for like a certain period of time? Now, these are the ones I love. They're huge, but I only have like a few of those. You really get quite a bit of the block in that one. Sure helps. Forever? Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. I mean, night shift isn't bad, but it is. It's probably quieter. But then again, it's quieter, and you got to try and stay awake. She's going to start doing lives like in the middle of the night because that's going to be her afternoon. And she's going to really throw us for a loop. Now you do realize if I decide to go get and can find some of this bright green Minky, I got to take all these out and redo it. Just saying. Hey, Sam. Yeah, we'll watch Ediani. You just got to let us know. We'll set our alarms and get up and be with you. So last night after I had my dinner, I had the worst craving for Starbucks caramel ribbon crunch. I have kind of gotten addicted to those because I would let myself have one on my way home from Dallas on the weeks when I was working there. And it was just more of a, okay, you can do this because you got a long drive and you need the caffeine and the sugar to keep you going. So I was craving one so bad last night, but I do have a Starbucks, but it's like 20 minutes from me. So I didn't want to go. And it was just late enough too. I didn't want to go. So I made one and it wasn't bad. It just didn't have the crunch. Let me tell you guys, I think I ruined my body in college because I made it super strong. And it was probably like about, 6 o'clock at night, 7:30 when I drank it. And I was sipping on it for probably about an hour or two. Went to bed at 10:30 and slept like a rock. And I mean, that was some strong coffee. Why am I pinning this? I'm putting the sandwich together, Ediani, so we can quilt the quilt. So I've got my bottom layer, and then I'm not putting a middle layer on this one, but I would have a middle layer and then the top layer. And then you have to pin them all together before you quilt everything. Yeah, but you'll get past that too, Ediani. That's just where you're at right now. And as soon as you get out of that phase, then you'll be awake again with us and we'll see you again. But I'm serious. I think I totally became immune to caffeine in college. So now it kind of makes some sense why sometimes in the morning coffee doesn't affect me like I want it to. It's like, I just had 3 huge cups. Why am I still sleepy and yawning? Yeah. And actually, the one I made last night was really good. And then I made one again today. And at first, I was like, yeah, this doesn't taste real good. And then I realized I probably only put in about an eighth of the coffee that I had in it the night before. And the minute I brewed some more coffee and put it in, I was like, that's what the problem was. So I made a huge, I mean, all day cup one. Yeah, I'm sure you are. It's only temporary though. Glad to see I'm not the only one that caffeine doesn't necessarily affect me. I was thinking it was kind of strange that it doesn't really seem to. It wakes me up a little bit, but I can go sleep like a rock if I want to after I drink it. So I don't know. I think I just like the taste of coffee so much, and I know it doesn't bother me, so I don't worry about whether it's decaf or not. I just drink it. I don't worry about what time it is. Yeah, I'm sure, Ediani. Oh, thanks, Sam. Yeah, this is kind of a phase I'm in right now. Lime green and blue. Yeah, that's me too, Mary. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and roll around for a while. And it's not because of the caffeine, it's because I'm not awake enough to realize that I need to get up and go do my thing. And then I'll go back to sleep. And then when I finally wake up to realize that's what I got to do, it's like, wow, shouldn't have had that much to drink before, or at least in the evening. Yeah, thanks. Good. I'm glad to know it's not just me. That makes me feel better. Thanks, guys. I was starting to think I was kind of the odd one that could do that. Because I like my coffee drink strong. I want to taste the coffee. I want it to slap you in the face. Thanks. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, and Sam, we were talking about the basting spray probably right before you came on. I'm not a fan, and it's just because of experiences I've had with very similar stuff, and I'm kind of not real careful with it. Tend to get to be real messy. So everything else around me tends to get messy as well. I just back away from the basting spray. It's usually the best thing, and nothing gets dirty and ruined. Does that work, Ediani? Well, at least Michelle, she won't drink her coffee. There's that. That's one thing you won't have to share. I like a lot of. I don't use like the creamer that you buy in the store, the flavored creamer anymore. I got myself to quit doing that, And so I use half and half, or I'll use whole milk. And then I have my collagen that I put in there, and then I have my sweetener. And then sometimes I'll put in like some caramel syrup or some vanilla or whatever. But I love the flavored coffee so much that that kind of takes away me having to put in some of the sweet flavored creamers. And so I'm trying to tell myself it's healthier. So let's just let me live in that wonderland for a while and we'll be good. Yeah, and see, I can't drink mine too sweet either, Michelle. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good, Sam. I'm definitely along the right lines there, thinking it's messy. It's me. I know how messy I get with that other stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going there with that. I would be so mad if I got this far and then the spray base got a stain on my fabric. I would just lose it. And my luck would be it would be a commissioned quilt or something. And I would not have time to replace, fix, that kind of thing. So, oh, there's that gnat. Ugh, that stinker. I like mine to have some sweetness to it, but I also don't like it to be overly sweet. I know some people go in and they're like, I want extra sugar and extra this and extra that, and I'm like, oh boy. But then I'm not so sure they like the flavor of coffee too. That might be part of it. I want to taste the coffee. Sam, on this one, I'm probably going to free motion quilt, but I'm probably just going to do it in lines. So it should be a fairly fast-ish quilt, but I am going to probably go probably like that on each one. So it'll be right next to the block on each one on the white, and then I'm going to come back and do the same across here. Now, where they don't line up so well, I'm going to come back after I get it all pinned and kind of just force it because it's off by like just a 16th of an inch or an eighth of an inch here and there. And if I feel like it's going to really magnify that, which I think it will, I may change my mind up and run down the middle of the rectangles so that it doesn't accentuate that, but yet it still gets that cross. Or I may, like do two this way and make it more of a modern-ish kind of free motion quilt. So that's a real good way to kind of fake out if you've got little imperfections, and we're all going to always have little imperfections on these quilts. They just happen no matter how careful you are, because there was one spot, and I'm not going to point it out. I actually pinned it before I sewed it, and I think it actually made it worse because it's really off, and I'm like, wow. So I'm going to do my best to kind of move it and see if I can't at least get it a little bit closer to being straight. And that's why I'm thinking I may just go down the middle of this. So we'll see. Oh, thanks, Sam. Oh, you did. Where'd you put it, Adriana? Did Liz leave us? You still on with us, Liz? Yeah. Oh, that would be really sweet, Anna. That would be really cute too. You know what you could do though? You don't have to do it right away, but you could do it over the course of them growing up. And then it'd be a nice little gift for them, like for their, whether it be graduation or birthday or something when they leave home. So you don't have to do like the oldest one first and so on. White mochas, yes, those are good too. I'm a caramel freak. That is the one that gets me every time. Yeah, Liz is probably looking at all the things. Yes. Yeah, and the only reason I mentioned that, Anna, is because that's kind of what my grandma did with the crazy quilts. Is she knew that not everybody was getting married, obviously, at the same time, and chances are the oldest one or two would be the first ones to get married. So she started with theirs. And that way just kind of worked her way down. And as she finished one, then she'd start the next person in line. So, give you a lot of time to think about it. And then you can, once you work through that first one, that's the one that's going to really take the time because you got to figure it out. And then the next ones will go a whole lot faster. And of course, you got to share pictures if you do this, because we want to know. We want to see it. It's going to be so cute. And it doesn't even have to be a big one. It could be just a throw. But I have to say, my baby blanket, I don't remember it. I don't remember using it. But my baby blanket was handmade by somebody, and it was just one fabric on the top, same fabric on the back. And it must have had something in the middle. And then they did that hand stitch blanket stitch all the way around. I've still got it. It's upstairs and packed away. I said, I don't remember it, but it is the softest cotton. So it's like, just like our regular quilting cotton, but it was washed so many times and it is so soft. And it's kind of a peachy pink background with puppies and kitties on it. And it's kind of the vintage puppies and kitties. Oh, I wish I remembered having it. But yeah, my mom gave it to me when we were packing everything when she was moving out of the house. And she was like, yeah, here's your baby blanket. And I'm like, my what? I don't remember that. Is your she shed even going up, Adriana? That's the question. That's cool if you've already got that in the works, but if not, that's awesome too. Yeah, get it in that guest room or your office area and just really take that over. Oh, that's going to be cool, Sierra. Yeah, those are so special. And you don't want to rush those because those are memories that, your kids will keep forever. It's just going to be one of those quilts that they're going to just always love to look at. And whether they do or don't remember the clothes, it doesn't matter. They know that they wore them. Yeah, I'm sure, Michelle. I was surprised that mine, you could tell mine had been washed a lot, but it still was in really good shape. So I don't know if maybe I just didn't get to use it as much as I would think I would. I think I do remember seeing a picture of me sitting. My parents had a little tiny rocking chair, wooden rocking chair that my sisters had when they were small. And so then obviously I had that. And I do remember a picture of me sitting in that rocking chair. And I think I had that blanket with me. And I think I was sucking my thumb too. Oh my. Yeah, and that's probably what I would do, Sam, is definitely just do a stitch in the ditch. You just want to hold it together when it's something that's that beautiful. You definitely don't want anything that's going to stand out. You just want it to be able to hold it. So that's your best bet. I would probably even just go to the point of if it's specific blocks, go around those blocks and then decide if you want to do more, if it needs more. If not, let it be at just that even and make it that absolutely simple. It's truly utilitarian at that point. This one's going to be a little of both. It's going to be a little decorative and a little utilitarian. So it'll show up, but it won't show up a lot. And this is one of my favorite looks for quilts, is to have a lot of white. And I think it's just really fun for kids, whether it's a light color that you put with it or a bold color, either way. I think it just really looks good in their rooms or just, being slung around wherever. And you can throw these in the wash and really just clean them up nicely too. Awesome. Oh man, you're quite a ways then. That's great, Adriana. I would be like, I'm calling the electrician. I want my she shed now. We need to get this done. Yeah, I felt for my subcontractor when we were building out this one down here because I was dead in the water until this was done. I could not do anything. And poor guy, I just kept telling him, the longer you take, the less money I make. Come on, let's go. I'm losing money. I'm losing money. Poor guy. He was probably like, calm down, Francis. But I was just like, I've got a business I got to get back up and running. Come on. And I can't do it just in my house. I've got to have my studio. And I don't think he quite understood that. Not sure he could wrap his head around what I was doing that was so important that I had to have a separate room for it or something. So I don't know. Okay, so I'm kind of at a point where I really need to move this a little bit because if I keep doing what I'm doing down there, I'm going to have a mess. So I was kind of pinning over the edge, and you really don't want to do that. I've done that before and ended up having to repin everything. So that's why I'm just saying I would move it when you get to that point. And see, this is also when I get to the edge. If you're not careful, things can skew just a little bit. So that's where I'm going to end up repinning, is because that was over the edge. So as I'm keeping it from skewing, then I'm having to kind of come back and move some things. So I may have to repin a few of those. All right, looks like it's spread okay. Yeah, I'm sure it's beautiful, Sam. And you're going to be glad when it's done, because you think about it more than you realize. But I bet you're going to have a blast finishing it off because you've thought about it for so long. It'll be satisfying. The quilt back that I'm doing, Angela, is just a minky. I didn't have any, what do I want to say, any fabric that I thought would work with this without distracting from it. I really wanted kind of either a really bright color or a blue, and my blue was too light. And I may still switch out because I really wanted to do this bright green fleece, which I obviously don't have enough fleece. I'm sorry, Minky. And if I can go find it, then I may switch out this white and do this, and then do a really bright blue border around it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Aw, Anna, you gonna go? Okay. That's all right. You have a good evening, girl. Thanks for joining us, though. Yeah. And congrats again. I'm excited for you to get that. Oh, this thing is just throwing lint. I shouldn't have done that. No big deal. But anyway, that bright green I think would go really well with this on the back. It'd be kind of that back you weren't expecting. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to want to repin all this again. Oh, that's okay, Sarah. Yeah, I do that. I think I did that today on the Sewing Machines Plus thing. I was behind just a little bit and didn't realize it, and I made a comment, and then I realized they were further ahead. And thankfully, at the time, though, it was just transitioning, so there was other people that came on after me that still made a few comments about the thing I was commenting about, and I was like, okay, good. Now I don't feel quite so bad, but oh man, that I felt kind of stupid at first. I was like, okay, they're wondering what the heck's going on. Oh, Sam, I've done that. I've done one king size, and it was big and heavy. It was a t-shirt quilt that my friend wanted made, and she wanted it super heavy so it'd be really warm. And I cautioned her because when you start doing a heavy quilt, it's a t-shirt quilt, even though I go in and reinforce the t-shirts and everything, it still can rip because you start pulling and the weight is pulling against all the seams. And so I cautioned her on that. She goes, that's okay. She goes, if we rip it, I'll bring it back, and let you fix it. And I was like, oh, great. Oh, great. Hence why I'm cautioning you. So anyway, I did it, and it took me forever to quilt it because I didn't have a long arm. And I actually used my industrial, and I was able to bring it down enough that I could put in a lighter weight thread, but not a super lightweight thread, because my industrial machine is meant for leather and heavier and real thick. And so it's not meant to sew like light to medium weight. And so I was pushing the limit on that, on it sewing it, but it worked. And yeah, I got the quilt back after about 9 months to fix some of the rips and tears, and yeah. But it was a workout. It was a really big workout. Now yours probably won't be quite as bad just because it's not going to be as heavy. And that was where my workout was, because it was really heavy. Because I had a minky back, and then lots of t-shirts and filler fabrics in between the t-shirts, and then a pretty heavy bat in the middle. In fact, I think I used fleece because that made it the weight that she wanted, and I couldn't get there with just regular quilt batting. Plus, it was cheaper to do that. Yeah, you definitely, Sam, don't get too intricate with it. It will be a huge burnout. You'll just be getting to the end where you're just going to be like trying to blast through it because you're so done with quilting it. And that's what I did with hers. Is I did a lot of the straight quilting, but I did more of the squares. And so I went in to reinforce the t-shirts as much as I could after I did everything else that I'd done. And that was my final reinforcing step. And so I kind of went in and went around every single one of the t-shirt, and they weren't all big, some were small. So it really did reinforce it very well. And I didn't have to do a whole lot of sewing after that because it was a modern layout. And so I had taken, because the t-shirts weren't all the same, and she wanted like parts of the front, which was small, and then the back, which was big, and those were separate blocks. And so I'd have small ones, I'd have long skinny rectangle ones, I'd have really big rectangles, I'd have smaller squares, medium squares. And so I laid them all out in a very abstract kind of way, and then filled in with the colors. And then you kind of had to figure out how to make your lines so that you could put it together. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun. And that's where that flannel on the wall came into the greatest help, because I could really lay it out and look at it before I decided. I would rearrange some things every now and then. And then I'd finally get a layout that I'd liked. And then I'd take a picture of it and send it to her to see if she liked the layout. And of course, she always did. She never had me move anything. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yes, and it did. It pulled. And my hands would hurt, literally ache after I worked on that one, just from the weight of it. Yeah, Mary Beth, and it's true. The weight can make it get wonky, and that's why I was using my industrial machine, because it had the power and the motor to help pull it for me while I was trying to push too, because oh my goodness, it was a workout. And then when I got it back to fix, I was just like, no, I didn't want to see it come back. I've heard of that, Angela. I think it just really depends on how pieced it is. The more pieces and the more seams you have can either make it stronger or make it weaker. And I know that kind of seems weird that it could go either way, but it can. And it really depends upon the pattern that you use and all that. And so you really kind of have to just start walking through it when you're quilting it and start doing, like, if I'm going to do the most minimal I can, what's that going to look like? And then work into a detail. So do it all over the most minimal and then take one more step in and take it a little less minimal and do that all over and just keep working your way, in on that until you've decided that you are there. It looks good or it's structurally okay and it's going to stay together and nothing's going to happen. I think rules of thumbs like that are great to start with, but I don't know that it's a hard, fast rule. Yeah, Angela, and that's where I'm talking about the structural integrity of it. So once you've done that once, you kind of then know. You just don't want to get too intense either, because you'll get burned out on it. So there'll be that happy medium place, and you'll know when you've hit it. It just looks right. It feels like it's okay when you pick it up. You can kind of tell by the drape how it lays, and if it looks like it's maybe got an area or two that could use a little more attention to it. Now on this one out here, I'm probably, I'm going to pin at the end of each one of these white strips. You'll see I'm putting a pin at the end. And it just seems like that's about the right spacing to hold it together. And then on the corners, I'll sometimes go at an angle and just catch the corner at an angle. Okay. Liz, maybe we'll have a few of those moments. It's the only bad thing about putting them all in a little thing like that. They tend to get tangled. It's kind of like reaching your hand into a pile of cactus. All right. Now I think I'm all pinned. Now I'm going to do a test here. And just pick it up and see. It should be enough, but it's usually a good indicator. And then I can also look at the back and make sure that they've all caught back. And it's enough of a pattern where my eye is going to pick it out if it didn't touch it. So yeah, it looks like I caught them all. Yep, it's holding it together real good. So there we go. I've got it pinned really well. So this will be an easy quilt just because I don't have that middle layer. And I kind of like these lighter weight quilts for throws and for cuddle quilts and stuff. They're just kind of that perfect feel. Yeah. Okay, so Michelle, let's talk about that for a second. I know I mentioned this before, so I will mention it one more time for if somebody either forgets or didn't hear or whatever. I'm going to move this so we can, you're not like watching my hands anymore. You guys are actually going to look at me now. So remember when we were talking a while back and I said, if you ever get blood on something you're working on, that you need to take your own saliva right away and put it all over that blood, saturate it, because your saliva will break up your own blood and it will come out every time if you do that. And so I read that once and thought, let me try that next time that happens. And the next time it happened, I did it. And I had blood, not bad, but enough on something that I was kind of sad. Oh, are you leaving us, Mary? All right, Mary, good night. And so I had tried it and I got some blood. In fact, it was on something really light. And I just saturated it with my saliva. And then I took it over to the sink and I washed it. Came right out. Right out. I have never seen anything. It was crazy, crazy. And I've done that since several times too. And it still keeps coming right out. So yeah, I totally believe there is something about the fact that if it's your own blood and your own saliva, it's made out of the right properties to break it down. So it was like life-changing for me when you're sewing and then that happens and you're like, oh, great, I just ruined it. Nope, you didn't. You did not. So remember that next time it happens and you've already, it's already got the stain. It can't get any worse, right? So it could always only get better. So give it a shot. Give it a shot and see if it works for you, but it should. And I think I took it over to the sink and used actual soap and water too. And by doing that and then doing the soap and water, if it doesn't 100% come out at that moment, like there's just a little residue, when you finally go to wash the quilt at the final end, it'll take it right out because it's already got, the two properties, the first one that breaks it down and then the soap is on top of it that's helping take out the last bit of it. And you would have never known that I did it. So I was pretty excited. Anybody have any questions about anything else we did here? Now I'm probably going to use one of my labels. I'll put it on the back though. I'll put it somewhere in a corner or whatever, and I'll just put it right on top of the minky. And it'll probably be before I do my binding, because I kind of want to make sure that I can catch the binding the way I'm going to do the binding on this one. And some people have where they put it like on the bottom and turn it to the top every time, or they put it on the top, turn it to the bottom every time. I do it according to what the quilt's going to look like and where I want the thinnest edge. And on this one, I'm going to want the thinnest edge on the top. I want just a little pencil edge of color going around. That'll pop all this and not fight this. It'll actually kind of enhance it. So I want to make sure that Adriana, I'm a vampire. Yeah, no doubt. So I want to try and catch that one edge of that, or two edges of that, I'm guessing it would be two edges, and put that binding over two of those edges and see if I can't do that. I mean, I don't have to, but I just kind of was thinking it might look kind of good. I'll figure that out when I get there, or whether I just want to do a satin stitch all the way around, or just as a close zigzag. I usually just do a close zigzag on that linen because that linen's got just a tiny bit of a rustic feel to it. So I think a satin stitch might be a little too much, where the zigzag a little spaced out kind of would be the right feel for it. Yeah, hydrogen peroxide, Michelle, will, but you could also bleach the fabric by using hydrogen peroxide. So I'd be a little careful on the color. I'd test it before you go do that. That's why I was loving this little trick, because I was like, you can't ruin it. You know, you can only take it out. So. Oh, this is the backing, Angela. I don't have, this is the backing. This is not the middle sandwich. I don't have a middle. I've just got two layers. I'm doing a top and a back. There is no middle. So yeah, this is just a lightweight, like a throw. These will be good little stash busters too. Because I look at the way that I do a lot of these, and I can see me just going in and pulling like a whole bunch of just random pieces of like 2 or 3 colors, and just making a quilt like this too. And it kind of comes out like a cathedral window a little bit or something. Oh yeah. No, the Minky is the backing, Angela. Yeah. I just don't have a center. I just don't have that third center layer that usually you see in a quilt, where you put the batting in between the top and the Minky. I didn't have any. And then when I started looking at it, since I'm using the white back, it doesn't really show. And I really didn't want it to be any heavier than what it is right now. I just want it to be a really nice lightweight one. So it's like, it's fine. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see some of that on the on camera. Yeah, I agree, Angela. It is. Yes, yes, Michelle, they did. They did. And then there was a way to kind of reinforce that too, just by doing a little more quilting over it, and it would hold it, and it would never fall apart on those threadbare areas. Yep, absolutely. And you still listen to this day, if you make a memory quilt and have some of those threadbare or worn pieces of clothing or whatever that you're going to use, just do a little more quilting into it so that it preserves it, and you'll be fine if you pay attention to the quilting that you do, so it doesn't necessarily take away from the fabric. I think I'm just going to do the one that I had, Angela. This one's probably going to go up in my shop, so I don't know that it's going to say anything. Where did I put that? There it is. So what does this one say? Yeah, this one's fine, actually. It's got the correct content and everything on it. So, in fact, I got a couple of them. Are they all? Yeah, they're pretty much all those two colors. So yeah, it's 100% cotton, 100% polyester fleece. So obviously the cotton's the top and the fleece is the bottom. And then wash in warm water, dry on low, cool iron. And then it's just got my logo and my Etsy shop name. So that's probably the one that I'm going to use. Now, if I use this one or the gray one, or whether I print out some new ones. Oh, I've got a yellow one too. Colors this one. Yeah, this one's brown, and this one's kind of got more of a gold to it. So none of these really go with it very well. Oh, I guess this one's just straight yellow. I was having fun with these. I did an entire sheet, and I changed up the color of the balloons on almost every single one, so I would have a variety. That way I was going to hopefully hit my color somewhere. And the ones that I have left, maybe this yellow one would be okay. I don't know. So we'll see. I would prefer to probably have a white one because this is going to look a little funny on white. Be nice if my sublimation printer would get here and I would just sublimate the label for it. And then I can have these colors really easily on there. But yeah, you could easily do a little sentimental saying, or if you have like a little blessing or whatever you wanted to put on the quilt for the recipient, or even if it's a memory date, like a birth date or an anniversary date or a retirement date or something, you know, easily wedding, that kind of thing. So and it looks like I've got to get that out. It's not bad, but I notice these little teeny spots every now and then. I'm like, because it's on white. So yeah, I don't know. These can be addicting, guys. I have a lot of fun with these. I think it's because they're so colorful and it's just so interesting to see how they come together in the end. And there's so many ways that you can just break these things up too, just by cutting them further down or not cutting them quite as much and keeping the blocks bigger, or cutting some down and not others. And then so you've got different sizes, because like this would have been cool too if I would have did a row of like squares and then did the rectangles in a row, squares and the rectangles. So you can keep things super, super basic and have the coolest quilts. Oh, thanks, Allison. I'm glad you came by. Yeah. The quilt along, the next one will probably be again 2 weeks, because we're going to go and quilt these if you're quilting with me. If not, it'll still be 2 weeks because I still need to quilt it. So just letting you know that. But yeah, the Sunday nights are staying every Sunday night. But these will kind of be interspersed here and there. And I don't know if we're going to do, you know, a different one after this. We'll talk about that when we get closer to getting this one done, because I see this maybe being one or maybe two more. Because I think the next one we're going to work on the binding. And I do the cheater binding. I'm just going to tell you guys, I do the cheater binding. I'll tell you how to do the way it's supposed to be done for a traditional quilt, but I always do cheater. So I like to control a little bit of how my binding looks. Sometimes if I have a pattern binding and I go to do it the traditional way, I don't like the way the pattern looks on the binding when it's done. So if I do the cheater, then it lines up the way I want it to line up, and it just seems to work better. So striped fabric is definitely the one that gets me every time, because if I do it the traditional way, it's on an angle. But if I do it the cheater way, then it can be straight. And a lot of times that straight is what really looks best. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm more of wanting the final product to look a certain way than necessarily going about doing it in specific ways only. So I've always been one that just kind of whatever works. Yeah, we'll see you Sunday night, Allison, for sure. 6:30 Central Time on Sunday. I pulled this one back tonight just because of working all day, and I knew I had to run an errand after work. I have a daily errand I have to go do, so I just pulled it back an hour because I knew it would be pushing 6:30 if I kept it at 6:30 during the week. So yeah, the weeknight ones are probably going to be just a little bit later in the evening, just because of work. Yeah, Sam, I agree. I think I just get to the point where I just do it. I just do it and get it done. And that's another reason why I do the cheater, because I can do it and get it done, and it's done. I don't have to work on it more. But there's times though when the traditional way, the fabric makes sense, the pattern, and I want it to look that way. Now it takes me longer because I have to stop and think about it, and then sometimes, even though I think I got it right, I didn't. So then I have to rip it back up. And that's not putting it on, that's actually making the binding that I'm talking about. And when I go to sew the pieces together, sometimes I'm like, okay, I got it right. I got it right. No, I didn't. And so then I rip it out and I do it, and then I get it right. And I'm trying to pay attention while I'm doing it. And then the next one I do it right. And then the next one after that I do it wrong again. So it's like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I like my cheaters because then I can't screw it up as easily. But yeah, there's also a time and a place for just pulling the back and cutting it and rolling it up and over that way too, depending upon the type of quilt you're doing, the outcome that you want as well. And that's really fast, super, super fast. But that's a whole different look that may or may not work for a quilt that you're doing. 6:30. I'm Central, Allison. So Sunday is 7:30 for you. During the week, 7:30 would be 8:30 for you. So yeah, you're just an hour off from me. So Sunday night will be 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. And then during the week, my live, when I have it, I don't know, I'll have one every week, but when I do, will probably be 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. But you'll get notified ahead of time, especially if you have the notification bell on, because I always go and post ahead of time. And then that way you guys get the notifications and you know. All right, Kay, have a good night. Yeah, and I have nothing wrong with the traditional way, Angela. Absolutely not. And everybody has their own ways of doing things, and they're all right, you know? So I'm just telling everybody, you do the way that you love. And I may not be doing it 100% the way everybody does it. So double binding, Mary Beth. Wow, that's exciting. That's cool. I don't know if I could have the patience. I really don't like binding. I just really don't like binding. And you know, I guess the reason why I don't like the binding is because usually by the time I get there, I am so done. I want the quilt done, done. I'm done. I'm like, ugh, one more step yet. One more step. I've still got another 2 to 4 hours of binding, you know, depending on the size of the quilt, because these were my friend's quilts for the t-shirts. So they were, so to make the binding and then to put the binding on and to finish it was an easy 2 to 4 hours. And it's like, oh, I'm there, but I'm not. And I was doing these in the evenings, coming home from work and doing them. So it was always like, all right, done quilting. I still got another probably 2 nights on this thing yeah, before I'm done. So yeah, you know, that I'm just not, I never have been one that when I get really close to the end of something, my patience is just gone. And I'm just like, let's go, let's go. I'm gonna be done. Let's go. I'm ready to go on to the next thing. But yeah, I always make sure I finish too, because WIPs, WIPS, works in progress, we all have too many of those. So I always try and make sure I kill them off while I can. Yeah. Keep seeing Bear Bear's head pop up every now and then. He's right down here taking a bath. He's the little black blob in the corner there. So Sunday night, I think I got to go find it yet. I think we're doing a bonnet. Baby bonnets are starting to come back in. Yeah, and I try and do that too, Allison. I try, and then that way I prep everything all at the same time. That way, when I'm sewing this, then I sew the binding together as well for that exact reason, so that when I'm cruising, and even if I've got an hour or even a half an hour, I can start pinning or doing something to get the binding on, so that all I got to do is come back and sew it the next night and take my time to sew it and enjoy the process, instead of feeling like, ugh, I would really like to get it all done in one night. And so push myself to do that and stay up either too late or rush through it or something. So, and then also to make sure I've got enough fabric, because sometimes I play fabric chicken when I get to the binding, because I'm trying to use like one of the fabrics that I've got in the quilt. And sometimes I'm super close, you know, like, oh, please, you know, like one strip shy. No, please, no. Oh, cool, Mary Beth. I'll have to try that. Gonna read through that again. My brain, sometimes I actually have to do it, because sometimes it's like it goes to a certain point and then all of a sudden I'm like, I can't see it. Where if I actually sit down and do it, then I'm like, oh, well, duh, that's where my brain wasn't computing, you know? That was the part I wasn't getting. There it is. Man, this thing. Got him. I swear, these guys have got to be populating. I am bringing down the little tricks you guys were talking about earlier. We are definitely going to deplete this population tomorrow. And there's another one. My gosh, are they bringing their friends? Heck. Oh, cool. All right, that's good to know, Mary Beth. Let me write that down. Sometimes going back and reading the chat, I won't find it. Paper everywhere until you need one. This would actually be kind of cool to do that on, because then I could do a lime green and a blue. That would be really cool too. But I'm still kind of sold on the real thin edge. My eye is seeing that really thin edge going all the way around of color. That's that place in Missouri, correct? The MSQC, Missouri Star Quilting Company. Yeah, they've got some really good videos out. She started the way a bunch of us are, where she just got on YouTube to start showing things and doing little YouTube videos when she first started, and her channel grew, which also grew their business, and then it started catching on, and yeah, and then all of a sudden it became like, yeah, Hamilton, Missouri. It became, the town was about the quilts, because she has like what, 10 or 12 different stores there now up and down the main area, and each one has a different theme. I can't imagine you start a little tiny quilt store, and then she's got like this thing that took over their small town, and it became like the town's business. Everybody works there, and can you imagine that? How exciting, to look back and see where you started and never saw it taking on a life of its own like it did. If you guys have not seen the story of how that is, it's on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. I've watched it several times. It's probably, the videos are probably about 10 years old, maybe a little older than that, but it is so interesting. And they walk you through each one of the stores and the themes, and it's so cool. And I need to go look and see where it's at, because that's kind of my backyard where I grew up. And so my family's still all up there. And I don't know, I got to go look and see exactly where it is compared to where my family is. And that might be why we never went, because it might have been just far enough of a drive. Or we just didn't know about it. I don't know. But that would have been a really fun day trip. Yep, they are very down to earth. Absolutely. See, that's what I was thinking. It was close to Kansas City. And I'm like, why did we never go? Because Kansas City was a 2-hour drive for us. So we could have went and did a day trip. And me and my sisters would always try and find things to do periodically here and there throughout the years, as like a sister's trip or a sister's day. We would never go for overnight, but it would be like a day trip. And we could have definitely done that. Definitely. So, yeah. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in KC, so bummer. Well, now I have something else to go home for. And if I drive home, I can do a little jog and spend the night and have some friends or my sisters or whatever come down with me, and we'll spend the night, and then I'll just leave from there and come back the rest of the way. 2 hours off of a trip isn't enough though for the drive, because the drive is like 14 hours. I usually fly, but yeah. Yeah, and then fill the car. But that's the problem. I went from a car to an SUV. So, oh boy, we would have a very long, very tall video, very long, as I unpack the SUV. Sam, I could do that. I could do that. Oh, that's good to know, Sam. Yeah. How far from Hamilton are you? A couple hours? All right. These guys are going to have fun tomorrow when I bring down all the things for them to get into and they take their last swim. All right, guys, it's getting to be that time. What am I killing? Oh, it's little gnats. They just kind of showed up yesterday. There's only like one or two, and I killed a bunch of them. I think I ended up killing like 5. And then today there was more, and I have nothing in here that they should be in. Nothing has changed. I don't know where they're coming from, but it's like you leave food out. It's those kind. Oh, it's making me crazy. Oh, okay. Okay, Sam. Good to know. Yeah, you're not too far. Yeah, you are kind of on the way. So good to know. I don't want to really drive home anymore just because it's so far. And yeah, yeah, I don't miss the mosquitoes, Sam. I don't miss those. I'm mosquito food big time. So yeah. But anyway, I think I've gotten as far as I can get. And with it being a work night and a weeknight, I want to be cognizant of that with you guys' time as well. So I am probably going to let you guys go because I'm going to see you Sunday, only a couple days away. And we will pick up where we're at and chat some more. So thank you for joining me. And those of you that are still here, love you guys. Love the ones that left too. And I will see you guys Sunday night, if not sooner, on Sewing Machines Plus, because Amber's on Saturday and we've still got Thursday and Friday too. So it's a lot of fun. If you get a chance, come over and join. I know Sandy hangs out in there too. And I've seen Anna's been there, and there's been a couple other people that bop in and out. Marissa was in there. So hopefully we'll chat there too. So I will see you guys soon. And thanks for joining me. Love you. Bye.